These high school students are learning about a city with a very special history.
This is what the entire city was supposed to look like back when the planners designed it. Plenty of green space and interesting buildings.
These apartment blocks were built in the 1950s in the Stalinist neoclassical style. In Eisenhüttenstadt, the architecture itself is a monument to history. In the model socialist city, industrial workers would live in spacious green housing estates rather than dark and crowded urban tenements.
It's a perfect example of what were called palaces for the working man.
Jörg Weise knows that it's the stories and the history behind the architecture that makes it so interesting.
What draws people here today is the relationship between the socialist ideals of the former East Germany and the architecture they created. After all, Eisenhüttenstadt doesn't have anything spectacular like Cologne's Cathedral or the Zwinger Palace in Dresden.
In Eisenhüttenstadt, the most spectacular sight is the steelworks visible halfway across the city. The local museum documents the city as it was envisioned nearly 60 years ago. An old architectural map. In the grand old cities most familiar to tourists, a central boulevard like this one ends at the Palace Gate. But here, it's the gate of the factory. Eisenhüttenstadt was originally known as Stalinstadt, but was renamed in 1961. Old video recordings document the pride of place once held by the model city.
Hour upon hour, the digger excavates fresh soil only recently covered by mighty pine trees. Some for a rolling mill, the rest for a new power plant. And here, a new smelting furnace, the fifth one.
The factory was called Eisenhüttenkombinat Ost, Ironworks Combine East, for short, EKO. Today, it's owned by ArcelorMittal, a global steel company. Visitors can take a look behind the scenes and watch molten iron being poured into special molds. It's heated to over 1200 degrees Celsius and then processed into hot rolled coils. The steelworks now employs about 2,500 people, only a fraction of what it was in the former East Germany. But the factory still shapes the city's identity. It's an impressive operation for the visitors, too.
It was fascinating. I've never seen anything like it before. I didn't want to leave.
And there's more to see. Here, the steel is being coated in layers of zinc in a process called galvanizing. Next, it's time to visit the city's documentation center. The museum was founded almost 20 years ago in a building that once housed a daycare center. Today, the collection holds over 100,000 artifacts from the former East Germany. They've been assembled into an exhibition by museum director Andreas Ludwig and his team. Each room illustrates one aspect of how people lived and worked in communist East Germany.
What's special here is that a man took used matches, and in his free time he built this scale model. So after work, he spent a great deal of time on this fiddly project, gathering matches and gluing them together. The end result is this building, a model of the 11-story Type 2 series building, which we still see here in Eisenhüttenstadt.
Cleaning supplies, soup packets, stockings, just a few of the many consumer goods on display. But the point isn't to evoke a fuzzy haze of nostalgia. The exhibition wants to bring viewers to a better understanding of life in the former East Germany. Some displays are on the whimsical side, like this board depicting production targets with rubber bands. Others capture how socialist ideology was imprinted onto the fabric of everyday life.
Today in 2012, most of our visitors don't have any personal memories of life in former East Germany, or of the Cold War, or of the division of the world. For them, the GDR is a foreign country. Everyone talks about it, but no one knows anything about it. So our job is to help people get a sense of it.
A visit to Eisenhüttenstadt offers many opportunities to learn about the history of the former East Germany. And one of the best ways to understand it is on a walking tour. After all, the very city is a living monument to history.